Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 8th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Thursday was overall good. I think I had one of those issues where I focused on like a bad point in my day or a point that frustrated me, and I let it stink up my whole day till around now. But overall, solid day. Let's get into it. How did it go? So we went to work. And I gotta say, I already started the day kind of with some hectic energy. I woke up, I was immediately worrying about money because I saw that I was oh, I'm broke as fuck. You know what I mean? And I got all these bills coming out. Oh my gosh, it's not even payday. And I'm already deducting all the money that I'm going to get. So that already I think put me in a bad mood. And I'm going through work and it's busy, and at some point a supervisor who I feel kind of has it out for me. I don't want to say they have it out for me, they want me fired or anything like that, but I don't know. We overall get along until it's too busy for his liking, or their liking, I should say, whatever. And they come and they have to say something to me, right? So that happened yesterday. That kind of bothered me. So the fact that it happened again today really kind of just set me off. But overall, I use it as motivation to just stay locked in and get through the day, and keep the buggies flowing at a good rate. So overall, it was fine. Also, a little bit of snack corner. I guess they had made too much. Someone had made a bunch of these fry bread balls, some kind of African food or something like that. And they're almost like hush puppies, but with no extra flavor or anything like that. But they're pretty good. So I had a couple of those, and of course I was feeling fat because I ate something extra. But overall that was a nice little treat. We get through work. From work we go to the gym. Gym was pretty good. Finally, it wasn't as busy. Still a good amount of people in the gym, but overall I could handle the amount. It didn't feel overwhelming. Overall, just the pump was solid. It was good, so we like that. And as I'm kind of getting out of the gym, I'm I know everything's fine. Everything's irie. We're going to come home. We're going to get our podcast in, and it's going to be good. It's going to be solid. So here we are on a Thursday, yapping it up in a good mood. I really am. I'm solid. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into some news. All right. Ooh. Our first story comes from ABC News. Pope Leo the 14th live updates. Pope Leo makes history as first American pontiff. The temporary chimney atop the Sistine Chapel released a plume of white smoke on Thursday evening, local time, signaling that the 133 cardinals working inside had reached a two-thirds majority to elect a new pope for the Catholic Church. Excuse me. American Cardinal Robert Prevost was shortly thereafter announced as the 267th pope or pontiff. He chose the name Leo the 14th, a senior cardinal deacon announced. The 69-year-old Chicago native, nice, is the first American pope and is seen as a diplomat in the church. This is the first greeting of the risen Christ. May the peace be with you, Leo said in Italian in his first remarks as pope. This is the peace of the risen Christ. Now, there's more details to be had. I'm sure Catholics are going crazy right now. The vibes are probably wild. Y'all know I'm not really a big Pope enjoyer. I'm not Catholic, so I don't really feel a way about it. I will say the fanfare is interesting. The reactions are very interesting. Apparently Laura Loomer, political tastemaker, I guess slash leader. I don't know, MAGA. I don't even know what you would describe her as, MAGA agitator, whatever. Anyway, she called the Pope woke and Marxist, the woke Marxist Pope, which I'm like, what makes this guy Marxist? Is it because he's from Chicago? Like, did he have to be from Texas? Like, this is a dub if you're an American, right? Like, this is literally like, oh my gosh, we got a Pope and he's American. Like, I feel like motherfuckers should be like shooting off their guns or some shit, like revving their Harleys over this. But no, Laura Luma, she's got a fucking yuck the yum. Apparently, she also like jammed up the Surgeon General pick because she didn't like her. And I think that also the Surgeon General might have had like some credential issues. I didn't feel like covering that story. That's kind of hitting the chopping block. But since I mentioned Laura Loomer, I figured we'd just throw it in the side news, whatever. You know what I mean? But, I mean, hey, new Pope, who this? We'll see how things go. I think... I will say, especially just how I'm reading the reactions, this seems to be a pope that is more in line to like Pope Francis, which I guess if you're gonna take a pope, that's what you want. I do feel like it's kind of funny to be like, oh, he's a liberal pope, or he's more liberal, he's less conservative. I think it's very funny because it's just like, at the end of the day, we're talking about like a Roman Catholic pope, right? I don't, okay, whatever. But I feel like if he's going to be more, about humanitarian issues and things of that nature, that's going to be a good thing. So hopefully he is like Pope Francis in that regard. Also, a bit of side news. I think the old Pope mobile is going, or has already been refitted, or is going to be refitted as like this aid mobile in Gaza. That's the plan, or at least the hope for the old Pope mobile. So I thought that was kind of a cool little factoid that Pope Francis had set up post his death. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, we got a new Pope, new possibilities. I don't know. What more details could I say? They did go pretty quick, which people said that, once again, I think it's weird to talk about, ideologies, but most likely that would mean that this was going to be a more liberal Pope and less of a conservative pick that people kind of potentially wanted. There was at least 3 rounds, and might have been more rounds, where that temporary chimney or whatever, it put up black smoke because they do all the ballots, they burn the ballots, and they used to burn them in a certain kind of way, so they would burn a certain color, either black or white. Now they just do like a chemical process or whatever. I think, like I said, they had a few that were just like black, and it didn't go because they didn't get the right pick, or they didn't land on the 2/3 majority, whatever. We don't know. It's it's behind the scenes conclave shit. But pretty promptly, within like what I think like the second day, yeah, we got a new Pope. So I'm glad that this didn't become a long dragged out affair. Mainly because what I heard is that would probably mean that most likely then the Pope was going to be more conservative. And also I just don't want to like hear about it. Once again, I don't care that much, y'all. Like this doesn't really tickle my fancy. I was non-denominational Christian. Like, what? Who gives it? I just don't. I didn't care. Even back in the day, this wouldn't have really, got me up out of my seat. Like, oh my God, American Pope, that's crazy. But anyway, here we are, Pope Leo. All right, let's move on. We got a shooting, a cop shooting to cover. Well, a cop did the shooting, whatever. Anyway, from The Independent. Body cam footage released of moment brother of Real Housewives star was shot and killed by police. New police body cam footage shows the moment the brother of former Real Housewives of Orange County star Lydia McLaughlin was shot dead by police. Jeffrey Sterling, 45, was pulled over after running a red light while riding a motorcycle on Pacific Coast Highway in Newport Beach, California, at about 9:15 p.m. on April 17th. Bodycam and dashcam footage released by the Newport Beach Police Department late Wednesday reveals the moment an uncooperative Sterling was eventually shot dead after accusing him of grabbing the cop's taser. The officer was able to break free, and as Mr. Sterling pointed the taser at him, an officer-involved shooting occurred. MBPD Press Information Officer Sergeant Steve O'Barron said in a video statement alongside the footage. After being recorded running a red light at an intersection, Sterling pulls over to the side of the road. The officer approached Sterling on foot, and a few seconds later, he got off his bike. "You okay?" the officer asked. "I haven't been drinking, officer," Sterling replied. "I'm fully sober. I'm just trying to stay safe." Which I feel like you don't want to start off with, "Hey, Mr. Officer, I'm not drunk. I haven't been drinking." Like, you got to let your vibe do that, right? You got to let your vibe do the talking. He is then told to sit down on the curb, to which an irate Sterling responds, "I don't care what you're telling me to do." Yeah, you know how these things go. I mean, my black ass I wouldn't be piping up like this, but that's me. Stop, come here, the officer said as Sterling attempted to get back on his bike, which is so crazy. After radioing in that Sterling was not cooperating and refusing to comply with repeated demands to sit down, Sterling asked for police to stop harassing him before urging, "Don't shoot me." Which, I mean, hey, I can understand that you see where this is going, and you're like, "Oh shit, this cop's gonna fucking pull up, and he's gonna pull out on me right now, and we're shadowing." "I'm not going to shoot you," the officer responded in the footage. Sterling reached into his pocket, saying he was attempting to pull out some identification, leading to the officer responding, "Don't reach for fucking shit." Sterling placed his hands beside his head as he began to walk towards the officer, again shirking demands to sit down. He then began to urinate in his pants as he walked towards the officer. Now, I don't want to bring up the whole drunk thing, because, I mean, hey, in this moment, maybe you're not drunk. Maybe you're just really nervous and you're really scared, and, you're just overreacting, impulse, whatever. I don't know. But, as the officer again radioed for backup, Sterling lurched forward, causing an altercation to break out between the two men. The officer's body cam was knocked off, but a dashboard camera in the police vehicle captured the rest of the incident from several feet away. Sterling struck the officer multiple times in the head and removed the officer's taser from his belt, at one point placing it against his head, police said. "Drop it," the officer yelled before a volley of 6 shots could be heard ringing out. Sterling stumbled backwards before dropping to the ground. Additional officers arrived on the scene seconds after Sterling was shot, Oberon said in a statement. Newport Beach Fire Department personnel attempted to deliver life-saving support before Sterling was transported to the Hoag Hospital, Newport Beach, where he succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead. The Sterling family released a statement following the release of the MBPD footage, raising grave concerns over the officer's actions. Of grave and specific concern is that the videos appear to show Sterling moving away from the officer at the time he was shot 6 times, read the statement, first obtained by ABC 7 Eyewitness News. The family, through their attorneys, plan to file a lawsuit in federal court to obtain full answers and seek accountability. Despite the footage capturing officers surrounding a prone Sterling, the family contested that no aid was initially offered to the victim after the shooting and stated his death was caused by blood loss, which is sad because that's something that we've covered before multiple times when it comes to the police, that they do this act on extreme impulse, that is their training, but then they don't do the other part that is supposed to be the training, right? Which is like providing now life-saving aid to the people you're supposed to be protecting and serving. And it's like, no, this person came from me, you see, and because of that, I reacted, I executed them, and, now I'm just going to stand over their body, just like it's nothing, like it's whatever. It's like, no, man, that's not how this should work, right? Also, just something I want to mention, the idea, we could talk about this, in 2 stages. 1, y'all know how I feel about firearms. Obviously, how I would feel about cops with firearms, law enforcement with firearms, especially some of the meanest, nastiest shit you can have. I mean, granted, this is just a firearm, whatever. That's one thing. But 2, the idea that, once again, referencing the training, because I'm sure at some point it's going to get brought up, right? That this is actually how you're supposed to do it. That if you're in this intense situation, someone is being combative, they have your one of your weapons, they're fighting you, you are supposed to respond with this level of violence to just erase them. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. Like, this feels like something that it's like, if it did have to get to this point, right, wrong, whatever, you could just do, like, I don't know, like a one shot, boom, and then it's like we've downed the person, we've incapacitated, whatever. If you've got to have this situation where you have the gun, you have this power, and you can use it, right? And it's like, no, you're allowed to use this force. It's not excessive. So I don't know how this is gonna go. Obviously, I'm not fucking clairvoyant, but it seems like more or less this is just gonna be treated as business as usual, and no worries. And of course, people are gonna say, well, if this person surely acted out, like they should have just been compliant, yada yada yada. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm not fighting all on this. I hate that people want to take it there. I just feel like these situations could be avoided so many times. They could just be handled so much better, and someone could still be alive. Yes, I'm not saying that it's not scary, that you're not putting your life on the line as a fucking police officer. I fucking get that. I fucking understand that. But once again, you have the power to be James Bond. You have the power to be judge, jury, executioner. You're the fucking Punisher, right? That's why you got the goddamn skull logo on your truck or your Dodge or whatever the fuck. Man, like, it all comes down to how you use it. And the fact that you kind of just have this immunity, it's carte blanche to do whatever, it's scary for, as a civilian, as a regular old fucking citizen, because you just don't know how to react. You're like, hey man, please don't shoot me. And then next thing you know, you're getting shot. So it is what it is. So y'all know I'm gonna cover this shit, whether it is, no matter who you are, whether you're rich, poor, black, brown, white, whatever, at the end of the day, y'all know how I feel about this shit. And, I'm not going to shy away from talking about it and doing the coverage. Me. Anyway, let's move on to another story. It is not getting any better or brighter, but it is a new story. From WESH, Wish 2. Looks like an NBC offshoot. Man accused of shooting 2 pharmacy employees at Port Orange Walgreens identified. The man accused of opening fire on 2 employees in the pharmacy area of a Port Orange Walgreens has been identified. The Port Orange Police Department said when the officers arrived at the business parking lot Tuesday night, they heard a single gunshot and found Daniel Lee Asif, 60, in the driver's seat with a single gunshot wound to the head. Asif, who police say was a disgruntled customer, allegedly shot the 2 employees while several people were in the store, police said. POPD originally said no customers were in the store. Police said one of the employees remains in the hospital in a serious condition with a torso wound but is stable. The other employee was treated for a foot wound and has been released from the hospital. The shooting happened at approximately 5:26 p.m. at the Walgreens drugstore located at 1625 Taylor Road. Now, between these 2 stories, not that I put them together to bundle them in any kind of way, but, what's something that we could just take out of these situations and, people would probably still be alive and, it wouldn't be as much, terror, chaos, death, destruction, all that bullshit. The fucking gun, man. Like, the fucking gun. And I keep going back and forth on this, right? Where it's like, do you want to keep bringing this up, Isaiah? And it's like, no, I don't. But yes, I do. Like, it's just hard for me to not come off of this fucking soapbox when it comes to this issue. Like, as Americans, we're just so hard locked into keeping our guns. And then not just making sure that we keep our guns, but that our law enforcement has, once again, the best, boldest, boomiest fucking guns that they can fucking get. That's right, I said boomiest. I just fucking threw a word out there. Like, why? Like, we were just in this doomed death loop and we don't want to get off of it. We just don't. We don't want to change it. And we act like it's impossible to do. We would be foolish to do it. Once again, I've had this conversation plenty of times with people. And once again, I do get the other side. I fucking do. But I also just hate seeing this shit unfold time in and time out. And all motherfuckers can say was like, well, you could just get hit with a car. You could get stabbed to death, blah, blah, blah. Like, they just come up with some other fucking excuse on why the gun isn't that bad. Why we all should just have it. Hell, have 2. Why don't you throw in a fucking AR? No limit, baby. Constitution. Let's fucking go. Let's ride that shit. Why? I just don't feel like we need it. Call me crazy. Call me a fucking hippie. Call me a fucking radical Marxist leftist. I wish. No, some of the leftists love their guns. I've definitely mentioned that before. They're just as annoying about it. So, and once again, I'm an American. I fucking get it. I understand. I understand that I am swimming against the tide here. I am running against the wind. But once again, I just see and cover this shit all the time, and It just bums me out because once again, there's just no changing it. I know that we are all locked into this, like, and you just either have to lean in or say, man, I just wish that it could be different, but you still have to accept the reality that you're in, right? Like, I know I'm not going to wake up and it's going to be like Australia or it's going to be like the UK or whatever. You know what I mean? People are just not going to wake up from the nightmare. They're not going to want to change or deviate from what this is. They're like, nah, it's fine. Blame the Doors. If you know the reference there, I'm talking about the Uvalde shit, but you know. Anyway, let's move on. This is technically some lighter story, pun intended. I'm gonna take a water break. I need to hydrate. Too much yapping. Actually, when I'm taking this quick break, another reason my day started off bad, my remote to my TV officially died. Like, I can't even put batteries in it. It's just broke. This is a first world problem. At the end of the day, I can still operate it with the buttons. So I'm not mad. My TV still works. But like I said, I don't have money. It's not like I can just go like, time to get a new TV. Like, so it's a struggle. I'm on the bus for sure. Anyway, from the BBC News, WeightWatchers files for bankruptcy as fat loss jabs boom. WeightWatchers has filed for bankruptcy in the U.S. as it struggles with debt and fierce competition from fat loss jabs like Ozempic and Mounjaro. The legal process will see 1.15 billion or 860 million pounds of the 60-year-old diet brand's debt written off while it agrees new terms for paying back its lenders. WeightWatchers said it will remain fully operational during the process with no impact to members. It follows the meteoric rise in popularity of weight loss injections in what the firm said was a rapidly changing weight management landscape. So essentially, they're just saying, hey, we can't go band for band with Ozempic. We can't go band for band with Mounjaro or Wegovy, whatever. We just can't. Like, our programs are useful and they're good, but we aren't up to snuff for this. They've done some rebranding in terms of like just going from WeightWatchers to like WW. And they've also incorporated some like weight loss medications. I think even a shot that they have now. But it seems like they're just too behind the ball to really keep up. So, I mean, here we are. I don't know if they're restructuring in a way that they're going to stay in business post the bankruptcy or, if they're going the way of the dodo and, sooner or later, we're just not going to have a WeightWatchers. This is kind of interesting timing to me because I was talking to a friend and their significant other is planning on, they're doing the thing of, trying to lose weight. And I'm like, hell yeah. And so we're talking about that. And they said, hey, like, we're going to try this, like, regimen for a week or two. And if we can't, we're going to try WeightWatchers. And I don't know why, but I was like, for some reason, I was like a little oppositional about it. And only because I've had a few friends, and this is obviously very anecdotal. I'm not an expert, obviously. Duh, I'm still fat. Like, I've had friends get on WeightWatchers, right? So they gave me the breakdown of like how it works. And, you got to pay in money. And on this, you get like, tips to kind of help guide you through, it's like a whole point system for all the foods and stuff you can eat. And really kind of helps you do almost like a DIY diet. And it really helps you do like portion control and stuff like that. I would say a real good upside about WeightWatchers is usually like with like a trial thing, at least back in the day, you could kind of get on the path with it. And like after a month, you could probably kind of figure out in the suss, hey, I can just replicate this process to some extent and be good. But the idea was like, hey, you get more tips and help. And there's just more tools at your disposal if you keep using WeightWatchers. Plus, they had a food program that you could actually buy into, if I'm not mistaken. So there was reasons to do that. But I think nowadays you just don't, like you have Ozempic, you have Factor meals, you have so many options where it's just like, hey, I don't need WeightWatchers. If I want to spend my money somewhere else, I can just do that. And I generally just don't know. Once again, this is just personal. I don't think that WeightWatchers may be the most effective. But that's me. I had to get it my own personal way in terms of like coming up with a diet that I liked and I wanted. And it's not something that is a hard set thing for me. It's something I change or plan on changing, as I go. So I think you definitely got to find what works for you. If Weight Watchers is a thing, because at the end of the day, just talking to my friend, that's more or less what they settled on. It's like, hey, if this doesn't work, then we're gonna try Weight Watchers, and they gave me the reasons why, and I'm like, no, that makes sense. Like at the end of the day, it is good to have these guide rails, and I think that it's good. It's a shame that maybe Weight Watchers is potentially going away in the future. Not right now, but like I think it did provide a service to some people, and I'm sure it helped people lose a lot of weight. You know what I mean? So I mean, get it however you can. Don't listen to me if this is something that works for you or might work for you. You know what I mean? But I mean, we'll see what happens to it as a company. And I would still add that there's definitely got to be other ways. I'm thankful for the internet in that regard, because you can learn so much. And now, granted, you can definitely get led by down some bad paths, get on some bad trendy stuff in terms of just diet and fitness. But there are a lot of good things you can learn, provided, you're doing your research, you're really vetting your shit, and you're like, okay, no, this is a thing from like people who have like degrees, or, you can see like, hey, like here's their work. Here's like, they like literally look at their body, look at what they eat, look at how they live. It's like, okay, they're doing their homework. Obviously it's proofs in the pudding here. Right. But yeah, potentially death of the Weight Watchers, but we'll see. Hopefully they don't go the way of Hooters, but we'll see. I don't know. Time will tell. And I'm ringing the bell on Hooters. Technically, they're still in flex, right? Who knows? The owl might fly again. Anyway, we're talking about food, so let's go ahead and close out with a food recall. Oof. See if it amounts to any kind of can of beans. Anyway, let's take our last break and we'll close it out. Ooh. All right. From Men's Journal. U.S. announces major warning about popular baked beans sold in 23 states. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, has announced a major warning about a popular baked beans brand. I can't say that 5 times fast. Vietti Food Group of Nashville, Tennessee, is recalling 4,515 cases of its Yellowstone brown sugar molasses baked beans, 15 ounces, due to the presence of undeclared soy. Excuse me. Individuals with an allergy or severe sensitivity to soy risk serious or life-threatening allergic reactions if they consume this product, the FDA wrote on May 2nd, 2025. The baked beans were inspired by the popular television series Yellowstone. Shut the fuck up. That's why they're called that. That's so funny to me. Okay, y'all. I am not a Yellowstone enjoyer, but it's something that the guys in maintenance, oh my gosh, y'all, this is crass to say, but these motherfuckers circle jerk about this show, about this series. They love fucking yapping about it, and I just like fucking like gray out whenever they start talking about it. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, they're like, oh man, it's just such a good show. Oh dude, like you should totally watch it. And I tell them like, I don't have whatever the TV service is on. I think it's like is it Peacock? Whatever. I'm good. I'm all right. But they're like, oh, it's so good. Oh, this actor's so great. Oh, this actress. Oh my gosh. I'm like, dude, y'all crazy. Y'all really like this show. So that's so funny that they made a fucking can of beans and it's got soy in it. Oh my gosh. The Republicans are mad. The MAGA heads are mad. There's soy in my favorite beans. Oh my God. I got to go back to Bush's as soon as possible. The recalled product was distributed through retailers in the following states. We're not reading all of those, but I will say Ohio, OH, Ohio gets a mention. That's right. We got them Yellowstone beans, and they got soy in them, brother. Be ready. Be prepared. We ride at dawn. I don't know. They got a lot code. Best if used by February 17th, 2028. So if you see that, bad beans. They got soy in them. If you're allergic or you're worried about it, you throw them out. Potentially get your refund, whatever. Y'all know how the fucking protocol is. Y'all know the fucking vibes. Be careful out there, of course. A lot of recalls, but so it goes. When I feel like since I see them now and I get like the notifications about all the news, I'm just more keen to point them out. And I just thought the story was kind of funny. Got them soybeans. What a knee slapper. Anyway, that's it. That's all I really have for today, y'all. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/ZaneNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up at ZaneNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, subscribe to the Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever listening platform you're on right now. Just keep up. Leave a like, leave a comment. Sharing is caring. But really, I just appreciate you listening. I yap about popes, I yap about beans, and if you've made it all the way through stuff like that, then you're an ace. You're a real one. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.